The most important thing happening right now in sports events is the NBA playoffs. And today I'm going to be reacting to the video called Everything You Need to Know Before the NBA 2026 Playoffs. Even though right now we play in the play-ins, but like, yeah, y'all already know what I'm talking about. That being said, I don't like to waste time, so be in the building. Let's get right into the video.
The regular season is now over and it's time for the...
Actually, what team y'all supporting right now? I support Memphis Grizzlies, obviously, because you know what I'm saying. But, yeah, I also support Houston Rockets. But yeah, who are y'all supporting for these playoffs this year, guys? And for the niggas changing teams each year, bro, if y'all are supporting the Hornets, bro, hey, I already know what you're doing.
Playoffs. Whether you watched every game or haven't been able to keep up at all, this is what you need to know about every playoff team. I've broken these playoff teams into 6 tiers, starting with the teams that are just happy to be here. And if you stay until the end, you'll hear my prediction for the 2026 champs. This tier is exactly what it sounds like. Teams are just happy
It's probably like the Hornets or something.
to be here and are probably not going any further. The Clippers already accomplished their 2 main goals this season. Get younger by trading James Harden and Ivica Zubac for Bennedict Mathurin and Darius Garland, and make the play-in so OKC does not have a great pick. This team is still too old and slow to keep up defensively, and they don't have another reliable scorer alongside Kawhi Leonard. The biggest storyline surrounding this team will be what happens in the Kawhi Leonard case when the off
Yeah, that's facts, though. I haven't really paid attention to the Clippers this season, though. But yeah, I'm looking surprised they're in the playoffs.
season comes. This is a lost year for Golden State, with Jimmy Butler out for the season, and then Steph Curry went down with a knee injury, which is why Golden State has slipped down in the standings. The season is a win if they luck into a top pick, and Brandon Podziemski does not get locked into an expensive
I do not
contract.
fuck with Stephen Curry, bro.
After a mediocre start, the Blazers ended the season really strong. Since March, the Blazers have the second best defense in the league. With a plethora of great guard and wing defenders, they like to push up really high and make the ball handler work. Danny Avdija has also continued to build his game up as a great slasher, especially on a team with minimal shooting. But besides him, the Blazers don't have enough ball.
Okay, shout out to the Blazers.
Good defensive teams. The Heat
Bam Adebayo, that's all I'm gonna say.
have had a great season given their roster. Spo has revamped the offense to become much more ISO heavy and fast paced, and most will remember the 2026 Heat for a historic game from Bam Adebayo when he scored 83 points against the Wizards.
Yes,
But
sir.
this team is just not talented enough to
Shout
get
out to him,
anyone
bro.
a scare, even with a coach like Spo running the show. This next category is called meh for teams that didn't luck into the playoffs but are very obviously mid. The Magic might be one of the most disappointing teams in the East, despite adding Desmond Bane.
Did y'all watch the game Magic versus Sixers? If y'all watched it, bro, who y'all got, and should I react to that match, to that game?
Who's had a good season, their offense is still below league average. The main reason is because of their inability to attack the basket. Boncaro and Wagner are both huge, but they're not quick, so they have a hard time creating good angles around
Yep.
the rim. This team seems like they have the personnel for the postseason, but their offense is just too clunky for them to make a real run. This postseason determines if Jamal Mosley is fired, in hopes of getting a coach that's more offensively inspired.
The Sixers.
Good things happened for Philly this season. Their first round pick, VJ Edgecombe, looks like a great piece for the future. Joel Embiid actually played for decent stretches of the season and has started to look like himself again. And with Tyrese Maxey taking another leap as a scorer, the Sixers have gone to him down the stretch. Because of his quickness, he has the best chance to draw 2 and
Yo, Tyrese Maxey been playing so good this season, bro.
find his teammates for open shots. But this team is just not strong enough defensively. Joel Embiid is not laterally quick enough to be the defensive anchor he was in the past, and his team is just too old and small to really hang with any of the East contenders. Watch for teams to try to go small to spread them out, especially at the end of games. The Toronto Raptors are also one of the pleasant surprises in the East. Once known only as a scorer, Brandon Ingram has become one of the better defenders on this team. You pair that with one of the best defenders in the league in Scotty Barnes, and that's how the Raptors have the 6th best defense. Barnes is one of the most versatile wing defenders, as he can guard 1 through 5, and Ingram does a great job using his length to play the passing lanes. They have other gritty defenders, most notably Jamal Shead, who has been a great spark off the bench as well. The problem is, this team just doesn't have enough on the offensive end. Barnes and Ingram both aren't great shooters, so they like to operate from the mid-range area, and the Raptors just don't have enough shooting around them to really give one of them
that's low-key facts though.
Series. The Suns look like a really...
Yo, when's the last time y'all heard about the Phoenix Suns, bro? Like, yo, since KD left, bro, like I haven't heard a word about them.
Impressive team for the first 4 months, but a cold ending to the season has them in this category. After shipping off Kevin Durant, they've built their team by becoming the Walmart version of the Detroit Pistons. They grabbed the fourth
Pistons going hard this year though,
because they have at least 2 people crashing the glass at all times, and they also forced the 3rd most turnovers this season, right behind Detroit and OKC. And just like those 2 teams, the Suns go 10 deep as well, which is how they bring that energy every night. Where they have struggled though is on the offensive end. This is a team that plays a lot of pick and roll, but they don't have the elite playmaking to be playing this style. This is already a successful season, and look for them to find more offensive juice in the offseason. These next teams aren't title contenders, but they have enough to at least make the first round opponent uncomfortable and can even win a series.
Yes, sir. LaMelo Ball in the building.
About the Charlotte Hornets, when their normal starting 5 all play.
Hey, shout out to the Hornets for glowing up like that, bro.
They are 27-7 as of the end of March, and it's for good reason. This team goes as far as LaMelo Ball goes. Because he's the only passer on this team, they love to initiate guard-to-guard screens because a screener can then choose what to do. Here the Hawks are in a 3-2 zone, so Knipple and then Kalkbrenner are both up, trying to set screens for LaMelo. Now Knipple has the choice to set the screen, but he sees all the space on the wing. So he just slips that screen to move out there. No Hawk player can pick him up in time, and that's just too easy. This has been Charlotte's go-to action, and a main reason they have a top 5 offense to start 2026. Moussa Diabate is also their one-man defense. The Hornets' perimeter defenders aren't great, but what they'll do is funnel the ball handler into Diabate, who then can clean up the rest. He's also been great at guarding multiple things at a time, and it's because he can read the player's instincts and then make the right play accordingly. Their biggest weakness, though, is their lack of size. Diabate and Kalkbrenner are both very lanky, so they will have trouble dealing with bruiser type of bigs. Also, with so many defensive responsibilities shouldered to them, look for opposing teams to bring them out and then find guys in the paint. Assuming they get out of the play-in, this team's offense is very potent, but how their bigs hold up will determine how far they can go.
ATL, shout out to
The Atlanta
ATL.
Hawks enter the playoffs as one of the hottest teams in basketball, making Jalen Johnson their primary playmaker, and getting Nickeil Alexander-Walker from free agency has paid off. But the biggest key to their success is actually Dyson Daniels. What makes Daniels interesting is that he shoots less than 20% from the three-point line, but he's impacted the offense in so many other ways. First, he's been great at attacking the basket, either from the dribble handoff when the defense takes away the first option, or when he has the ball and the defense is completely sagging off of him. He also ignites the Hawks in transition, pushing the tempo, and either finding his teammates for good shots or taking it himself to the basket. Because Daniels has been much more forceful with the basketball, everyone on the Hawks is now a scoring threat. Besides Daniels, this team has 4 or 5 guys that can all attack the basket, and the reason they have so much space is because they have 2 stretch bigs. Onyeka Okongwu shoots 38% from the three-point line, and when he goes to the bench, the Hawks could slot Jock Landale into that same exact spot. This gives the Hawks so much space to ISO, and then they can play off of that. Defensively speaking, this team is very active and has a lot of great perimeter defenders. Dyson Daniels is the most obvious, but with Kuminga, Alexander Walker, and Okongwu there as well, the Hawks do a great job keeping everything in front and making teams beat them with tough shooting. That's why this team is going to be a handful in the first round series, and if they continue to advance. This next category are teams that have a lot of talent but have been disappointing and are likely heading home earlier than expected. The Houston Rockets come into the playoffs as one of the hottest teams in basketball, but they're still.
They also have such a good roster, but they're not good enough.
Let's start with their shooting. Amen Thompson is only shooting 23% from the
Amen Thompson, dog.
Three-point line, so a lot of big men will be guarding him, but they're actually helping out in other areas. You couple that with Tari Eason, who was in one of the biggest shooting slumps in March, and another non-shooter in Alperen Sengun, there's reasons to be concerned. The biggest factor is their poor spacing. On too many possessions, especially down the stretch, Ime Udoka has not figured out how to position and move their players in a way to keep the defense on their toes. Because everyone is usually standing around, defenses can load up on the ball handler, and they haven't figured out many counters to that. The most obvious time was when the Lakers spent a whole half doubling Kevin Durant. Durant had a hard time navigating those double teams, and the Rockets players couldn't position themselves in spots to take advantage of it. The key to Houston making a deeper run is Alperen Sengun. Their offense is at their best when they have Sengun at the top of the key, and he's able to find his own shot in that one-on-one matchup. When teams feel that Sengun is getting into an offensive rhythm, that's when they start doubling, and that opens everything up, especially for his teammates that can't shoot. Look for Sengun to be aggressive early and often to help open up the entire offense. With that said though, the Rockets' inability to space is the biggest concern, which will make their run through the Western Conference that much tougher. Coming into the season, the Cavaliers were one of the favorites to come out of the East. After a disappointing start to the season, they made some bold moves, trading Darius Garland for James Harden and acquiring key role players like Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder. Their saving grace is that they have the best two guards in the East. Harden has been an impressive addition, especially when he's paired with Jared Allen. Allen's very good at just finding soft spots on Harden drives, and Harden does a great job finding him in those pockets. When they first played together, Jared Allen had his best month ever in February, and this addition has relieved Donovan Mitchell's offensive workload significantly. The reason this team is a pretender, though, is because they are very small, and in the playoffs where mismatch hunting will be even more apparent, there are too many players that opposing teams can attack. Even if the Cavs bring sufficient help to the ball, a simple kickout pass or two will be good enough to then get a good shot. So even though they got rid of Darius Garland, their defense after the trade deadline is still below league average. This team can then be very prone to big runs. If their shots don't go down, they're not strong enough defensively to keep them in the game. The Thunder went on a 28-5 run to start the game against them without SGA or J-Dub, and later in the month, the Heat embarrassed them in the fourth quarter by outscoring them by 17 points, so the game can quickly get away from them, which is not a great recipe for success if they want to go on a deep run. The Lakers are pretenders right now because their two best players are hurt. This is a very top-heavy squad that loves using high pick and rolls, so it's dependent on fantastic playmaking for the offense to be cohesive. If Luka and Reeves come back, the next thing to watch for is their defense. What made them so successful in March was how active this team was, especially with their hands and smart positioning. DeAndre Ayton is a big key to this. Notice how his hands are up to deter any pass, so the Wolves try to reset the possession. Ayton's pushing up, so Ant tries going downhill, who then runs right into Smart for a charge. The other edge they have is clutch time. They're 22-7 in clutch games, and a lot of that is Luka making tough shots, but JJ Redick has drawn up creative
Shout out to Luka though.
When it matters most. Needing a 3 to tie and only 1 second to go, JJ Redick called an elevator play to the opposite corner that got a really clean look for Austin Reeves, but he just couldn't knock it down. Look for him to draw up some really creative sets in the playoffs when the Lakers need a basket. But again, none of this matters if Luka and Reeves can't come back in time, otherwise they would be in this next category. This next tier is called dangerous but flawed. These are teams that can make a deep playoff run, but they have a glaring flaw.
If y'all want to see the dangerous but flawed boys, I'm gonna make a part 2 to this video because the video is already getting pretty long, and yeah,